This episode is brought to you by America's Rehab Campus. Get on the road to recovery with the best rehab in beautiful Arizona. Dial 1-833-272-7342. That's 1-833-ARC-REHAB. All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Buddha once again. We're coming back from the Artcast. This is episode 3. You guys know me. I'm the recreational coordinator here. First of all, I want to thank you guys for listening to the last 2 episodes. This has been a blessing. The feedback has been awesome. So I thank you guys out there for listening. As always, I'm joined by my buddy here, NFL legend, my man Vance Johnson. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. Hope the listeners are doing really good too. Here I am as the ambassador for ARC, and you know what? Being a former pro football player, we actually can be ambassadors because we're going to wear the uniform, and I wear ARC uniform everywhere I go.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Yes, absolutely. So, and how about my brother Matt?
I'm good. How are you guys doing? Another episode?
Yes, sir. Matt Shetler. He's our chief marketing officer.
I'm good. Blessed to be here.
And last but not least, the man, the myth, and the legend, Mr. Mike Zipprich. He's the founder and the CEO of America's Rehab Campus. Mike, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here.
Hey,
Good
brother,
to
it's
see you,
good
brother.
to have you. It's good to have you, man.
Always good to have you, brother. Yes. You mind if I jump in there with a question?
No, absolutely,
Okay.
please.
Yes, Mike, first I just want to thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, having the chance to meet my brother Matt, talking with you, obviously, and allowing me to come be a part of this team. Growing up here in Arizona and being here at ARC, just really excited about what we're doing, offering hope to so many people. I had a question for you because I had a chance to watch you actually on a couple different interviews, and I was just really impressed. And as you, as an owner, founder of a program, I meet so many people around the country, and I was thinking to myself, I have not met a man like this. And so I want people to know how you mentioned in one of those interviews that finally reaching the pinnacle of your own life, how passion
Meets purpose.
meets purpose. And so can you kind of explain a little bit of that, how that turned about?
I think it's natural. I think that, the first thing as you're growing up and becoming an adult in life and you want to determine what you want to be when you grow up, when you find something that's very passionate, it's really not work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so when you find that passion in your life, it becomes your purpose. All right? And if it's your purpose, it's easy. It's not complicated. You don't get up in the morning and say, oh, I got to go to work.
Right.
Right? You get up in the morning and you say, you know what? This is my purpose. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. So you're excited about it.
You literally just answered my second question.
Amen, man.
Right?
This is your purpose. Exactly.
That's exactly right.
Absolutely. Another question I had for you. So addiction, you talked about also, is a mask. And I know as a former pro ball player, when I was on the field, that's the only time that people didn't see my mask. And when I was off the field, all the 10 years, 3 Super Bowls, I struggled with addiction. I wore the mask, but people didn't see it when I was on the field. So can you tell people a little bit more, break it down how addiction is is the mask that they're wearing?
Well, everybody uses the addiction as their crutch to what's really going on in their mind, right? And we all know this is about the mind. The mind makes you make good decisions, makes you make bad decisions, right? And everybody knows it's not good for you to do excessive drugs, alcohol, excessive everything, right? So whether it be sugars or candy or coffee or
Shopping.
or whatever, exactly, right? So it all becomes an addiction. And so therefore you put the mask on so people outside, you can pretend that they don't know what's really going on with you. And so with the mask, it's like the movie Jim Carrey, right? Where he's got the mask, right? When it really showed him what he really was about. So people that are addicted come to the program with their mask on.
Yes.
And it's our job to take the mask off and say, okay, what do you really look like? Who are you really, right? What is your real deal? And you find that it's almost so simple to understand that the mask in life, it's like looks. It's like the clothes you wear. Certain people wear really exotic clothes, but is that really them?
I was that guy.
Right? You put that on. I mean, look at the sports industry, right?
Yes.
I mean, I've never seen a basketball player come out of the locker room without a 3-piece suit and a tie and
Yep.
And what is he put on a mask?
He's putting on the mask.
Right?
Exactly.
Because the minute he gets home, I'll bet you that thing goes off and he gets into the comfort zone.
Yes.
But that's a display of I'm a professional. But if he came out in just a golf shirt and his ball cap on, half backwards, right? You'd still respect him as the ball player.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
Okay?
But like you said, you're putting on the mask. And as a former pro ball player, I used to do that. I would wear $200 and $300 suits, $200 shoes. I would only drive $150,000, $200,000 vehicles.
Wow.
But I was only wearing a mask because that wasn't the real me.
Well, the
So
mask only covers up our brokenness, right?
Wow.
And so when we are in the mask, you can't see how broken I am.
Exactly.
That's the illusion we give to ourselves. We look ourselves in the mirror with our mask on going, I'm unbroken.
I like that.
We take it off and we see this broken down spirit. Inside, we're just completely destroyed.
Yes.
I think a lot of people are afraid to feel vulnerable as well. You know, you go through these experiences, whether they're physical, emotional, sexual abuse, whatever it may be, but you go through these experiences in life feeling like you're all alone.
Absolutely.
You know, and the mask gets put up there, you know, almost like, you know, as a result of the insecurity of like, I don't want anyone to know, or I don't want anyone to feel, or to understand what I've been through, you know? So our job here, which is one of the things that I love, is being able to allow people to feel that comfort, to take that mask off, and to know that they're not going to be judged, you know, to know that they're not alone.
No, they're not alone at all.
And I'm not sure they teach that in school today. You know, it's interesting. When I grew up, I grew very fast. I was clumsy. You know, I had orange hair, not red hair, but orange hair. And I felt so embarrassed of who I was and what I looked like. So I had to start making changes to myself by letting my hair grow long and combing it back and looking cool and, you know, wearing really cool shoes and to distract people from the fact that, look at this orange carrot top kind of skinny little guy.
Are we the same age? Because I used to do the same thing.
Right? You had orange hair too?
I had purple hair. My bad.
Right?
Yes.
And now it's white. Now my hair is white. So,
Yes.
you know, if anybody out there has red hair, don't get discouraged. It'll grow. It'll get white.
It'll change.
It'll change.
Man,
Everything changes.
I'm going to ask you to bring a picture next time, Mike. I got to see the orange hair.
I
That's
got
a
one
good
on my phone. I'll have to show it to you before I leave.
Got one on my phone too. That's why.
Somebody sent it to me. I'm trying to remember who it was. But anyway, that's the mask.
Yes.
So when you look at this program that we have here, so many people are, in my opinion, are so asphyxiated, grouped organizations by following the book, you know, following the 12 steps, following the, you know, and the problem with that, instead of letting people make their own decisions in treatment by just giving them all the necessary tools, instead of saying, you have to follow these 12 steps. No, I don't.
Right.
I don't want to. What I'd rather do is I like the idea of what I learned in my group this week, right? I'll give you an example. We had a very prominent attorney here that first came into the program, and he fought everybody, his family, about coming in. We had to go do an intervention, and I didn't know anything about interventions, but I just logically talked to the guy, went to his house, his parents were there, and the guy was drinking a fifth of bourbon a day, and he was taking pain pills, and he lost his job at his big law firm that he was a partner in, and the whole deal. And the long story short of it was, he came and I said, I'll come down for a week just to satisfy my parents.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with me, right? And he told the story about pulling into 7-Eleven or Circle K every morning and filling up a Diet Coke or a Coke with his fifth of bourbon and filling it up with Coke, and he'd drive down the way to work that way, right?
Yep.
Wow.
Well, after about 2 weeks here, he came to me and he said, could I stay longer? And I said, sure, stay as long as you like. Well, he stayed probably about 3.5, 4 months.
Wow.
That's crazy.
And I said, what made you change your view on the program? He goes, you know what? I was in art class and I was painting this stupid rock. And I looked around and I realized I'm no different than anybody else.
Wow.
That's awesome.
I'm an addict,
That's exactly what happened.
just like everybody around me. And I finally came to realization that if I wanted to be something different, I had to make a change.
Folks, you're listening to the founder of the ARC.
Yeah.
And he's reminding me of when I was in treatment 9 years ago, how being a former pro football player and having to go to treatment with a whole bunch of alcoholic addicts and people that were, to me, were losers. When I finally, after 14 days getting ready to AMA, was told by one of the counselors, Vance, you need to go back in. In fact, you know what? I just lied. I was actually told by God to go back in and listen.
That's
And
good.
so when I went back in and started listening to people's stories, I started seeing how people that were talking about the trauma and the issues they went through with childhood was the same things that I went through. And so you just validated exactly what happened to me when I went to treatment too. And when I started listening to other people's stories, I started to just say, you know what? I need to be transparent about the things that I've struggled with, not just lie about my career and how famous I am. So thank you for also validating, because I talked to so many clients here that say they've had a conversation with the founder. Thank you so much for talking about this gentleman that was, you said he was an attorney that came in for a couple weeks?
Wow.
And by the way, that's where passion meets purpose.
Exactly.
Because you realize that you have a purpose, right?
Yep.
And you make that change into what is your purpose.
Right.
And once you've determined what it is, right, it's easy.
Right.
It's a no-brainer.
Exactly.
It's like falling off a rock. It's not a problem.
And your purpose is your passion.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And then because you love it, you don't keep time cards.
Exactly.
You don't keep time cards on passion, right?
Right.
I know someone that loves to put jigsaw puzzles together. And it doesn't matter how many hours he sits there because he loves putting jigsaw puzzles together. Massive puzzles that I would pull my hair out trying to do whatever I have left. But the fact is, that's his passion.
Yes.
That is.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think us as people, if we don't have a purpose that we're living for, we just kind of flounder, right? It's like that whole story, swimming upstream. Without that purpose, I just keep trying to swim upstream when I should just turn around and just let the stream take me.
That's true. Another thing I heard, Drake actually says this. He says, everybody dies, but not everybody lives. And I truly do believe that by finding your purpose, you know, what are you doing in this world? How are you helping other people? Because this is not a battle of the flesh, right? This is a battle of like the spirit. And a lot of us are husbands, we're fathers, we have jobs, we have things that we're trying to do, and making an impact on somebody else, in my opinion, is the greatest thing that you could do.
Wow.
You know,
You said that, brother, because the scripture talks about how the spirit man and the flesh man war every single day.
Yes, sir. I agree.
For that. Yes.
And you can take any passion you have, make it a purpose, and turn it into a monetary benefit so that it becomes your job that makes, see, the bottom line, if everything was free, it'd be real easy, right? You go to the grocery store and you get what you want and you just bring it in your cart and go home and, you want to buy clothes, you could whatever. But we have to have a monetary purpose to be able to sustain our lifestyles.
Yes, exactly.
And everybody has a different level of a lifestyle, right? Some people say, it's really funny. As you get older like I have, and you've been through this, Vance, probably, you bought $150,000 cars. How important is how important is a red Ferrari to you today?
It's not at all.
No, right?
Not even, in fact, driving by these cars almost every single day, I keep asking myself, Vance, why did you make that your passion? Because you were just living a lie.
Yeah.
And I bought it to try to make myself feel good, but guess what? You can't drive the car all day.
No.
That's
that's
exactly
true.
right. And it's so funny when people live their lives around monetary things.
Yes.
Matt and I have this conversation all the time, right, Matt?
Yes, we do.
Matt's always said to me, hey, I could live in a massive house or I could live in the back of my car. It doesn't matter to me as long as I have the basic essentials and I enjoy what I'm doing, which takes you back to the same story about your purpose and your passion.
All that just kind of relates back to the mask, right? Because
Yes.
material things are part of that mask.
Wow.
Cars, houses, toys, all that stuff. It's always fun to have, don't get me wrong. But if that comes to either I'm going to be able to eat or have toys, I'm going to put food on my table,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah, the other thing that's interesting is take it back to the celebrity status. I always loved the celebrity status, right? It was so funny this week. I mean, I listened to all this, and I listen to this stuff because it's absolutely no-brainer stuff, and it allows my mind to rest while I fill it full of all this crap and junk. But for example, take Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Passion meets purpose.
Yep.
From what you read, his family's taking his purpose away.
Right.
Which is that his passion is playing football.
Yes.
And he wants to play till he can no longer, they wheel him out in the wheelchair in the field, right? That's his passion.
That's so interesting.
So he's turned his passion into a purpose.
Yes.
The purpose he's turned into a monetary value, which has enabled him to give his family all the beautiful things that they wanted, right?
Many generations from now.
Yep.
So many people want to take people's purpose away from them, and when they do, they die.
Yes.
You're broken.
you die.
Yes, exactly.
You know?
In fact,
Wow.
as uniform inspector for the NFL over the last couple of years, I had a chance to meet and have a personal conversation with Tom Brady when they were playing against the Raiders. And, when he's not on the field, he's not doing good. And I knew that when, what was the gentleman's name that ended up running off the field, taking his clothes off and throwing them up in the
Antonio
stands?
Brown.
Antonio Brown.
Oh, man.
Did you know that Tom Brady was on the field playing ball, so he didn't see Antonio Brown run off the field? And that's the reason why he but he literally retired, because Antonio Brown used to live with him.
Wow.
Then his wife made him go back to
Which,
play
by
in
the
the
way,
NFL again.
Vance, that rolls into, think about it, into addiction.
Exactly.
He's addicted to football.
That's where I was going.
He's addicted to the game. He's addicted to his purpose. So therefore, I always say here, let's give the patient or client as much treatment, therapy as possible, right? The more you feed them, the more they're going to realize who they really are.
Right.
Yeah. Listening to your testimony, Vance, it's interesting to me talking about the passion and purpose. For such a long time, you thought that your purpose was to be this all-star, this athlete that, and you even have said how you were so miserable during that time, everything that you experienced. And look at now. We're doing a podcast about recovery through all the trials and tribulations that you've been through. But it took having a change in your mindset to actually realize what your true passion was. And I think a lot of us get stuck in that, where we think our passion is this. We're supposed to do this. Maybe it's to be a musician or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
It never pans out. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, I just give up on the world. I'm not even trying to find what it is, And if you allow life to take you through these journeys, eventually you find the answers to what you need. You just got to keep an open mind, a sober mind, and stay clear-headed,
Just to take a step back real quick, what Mike was talking about here, is there such thing as good addictions? Tom Brady's
believe
addicted
so.
to football, right? How much is too much for him? We tend to look at addiction as everything's always bad.
Yeah.
Is it, or is it not?
That's a really good question. I guess it depends on the level you put that good addiction to. If it makes you your identity, that's a bad thing.
Because when I got into the program back in 2004, I was an IT guy and I was traveling 3 weeks out of a month for 14 years. That's what I did. But I was never home, never there for family, kids, whatever. When I got sober, I was told, you got to do this, 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 and this, and this. You got to hit this amount of meetings. You got to do this. My life turned into a little bit. I never saw my family anymore because I was always doing all these meetings and doing all these things for everybody in 12-step rooms and all this stuff, right? And I had to take a step back and go, I'm just turning my addiction 180 degrees, and I'm still not getting that fulfillment in life of being a father, being a good worker, being a good son, all those things that I wanted to be, because I'm not even home for them, because I'm fixated on fixing everybody else and doing all these things. And that's what I ask about addiction, right? So my addiction just kind of got turned to meetings and all this stuff when I lost sight of what I got sober for was to be a better father, a better son, a better worker, right?
Yes, sir.
So I'm just kind of being devil's advocate.
Well,
that out there.
that's a good question, because that brings up another big word, satisfaction.
Okay.
That's a song, right?
Yeah.
You sang it, didn't you, in
That's
your
right.
band?
I did. Satisfaction. Where do you reach the point in your life where you're satisfied where you're at?
Wow.
Right?
Yes.
Think about it. How comfortable am I now? I've got to incorporate in my life, I got this menu of things I have to do, as Matt just said, right? I've got to be a father. I got to be a husband. I got to be a son. I got to make a living. I got to be personally content with my own life, my own self and inner being, right? I got to have all these levels of satisfaction. So if you ever took out a piece of paper and you started to write down, I always do this with people. What happens is we call it the Ben Franklin close. You put the list of pros and the cons, and you start to write down all the pros about a topic that you're dealing with and all the cons. If the cons outweigh the pros, the probability is it's probably not something you should be entertaining.
Wow.
Or you should be correcting it, right? So passion meets purpose meets satisfaction. And when you get those in an order and you start to realize that, oh, you know what? I'm comfortable here. I'm comfortable with the fact that we're going to have 3 beautiful treatment centers in the state of Arizona. We're going to have a great market. There's 2 million people struggling with problems. We're right in the pathway of all the big drug problems that are going on in the country.
Yes.
And rather than have a bunch of ancillary little partially productive outpatient clinics, we have 3 really state-of-the-art quality places where people come for an experience.
Amen.
And you do that. So as I've learned in this program, and I didn't know anything about this in 2014, not a thing.
Right.
I was a real estate developer. I've been one for 44 years, right? But what I did realize, not everybody was being treated equally, right? It didn't matter if you were an executive and you could spend $50,000 for a 30-day program. Very candidly, I'm going to hate to say this, but I don't see anywhere out there where a $50,000 program is any different than what we offer.
Guess what? When I went to treatment, all the pro ball players, they were paying up to $70,000 a month for us to go to a 30-day program. And you're right, it didn't make a difference.
It did make a difference, right?
No, it didn't.
What makes that difference?
What's that?
What makes that difference?
That's a good question.
See, first of all, what you have to do is this. We had to look at the fact that obviously the campus has to make a certain amount of money to be able to operate with the proper tools it needs to give everybody 150% of our efforts, right?
Yep.
Okay, so therefore it reaches the old theory. It's very simple to real estate. It's supply and demand theory, and it's also quantity meets quality, right? How much quantity do I need to get the quality of care I want to give? And there you start to put this together. And when you do that, you start to see a whole nother picture of this thing, right? The fact of the matter is that if more programs were like what we offer people, there'd be more people today, I think, that would have a much better success of being sober. Because you know it, and I know it, Vance. You can't solve this problem in 30 days.
No, you can't.
Nope.
You can't solve this problem in 90 days.
No.
Nope.
This is a problem that, at the end of 12 months, you can look back and say, you know what, I got a handle on it now.
Yeah.
2013, I decided to quit drinking. Now, I quit drinking because of 2 reasons, all right? And the first reason was the fact that I had just lost 15, 18 million bucks cash in the real estate market, okay?
Wow.
And I thought the world had come to an end. And I thought, my God, I spent 35 years working so hard for this, and I was retired in 06. 48 years old, I was playing golf 3 days a week, and all of a sudden everything economically started to slide. It wasn't that I made bad decisions, but I also made decisions that the economic engine of the country took me that direction, right? Like everybody else.
Yes.
Okay? And so when all that started to happen, I started to realize that, wait a minute, maybe there's another message here.
Wow.
Maybe the man upstairs is trying to tell me something.
Come on.
Yep.
Right? And when this opportunity arose and someone brought this to me, it really felt good when we could actually turn somebody's life around.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
In the first year and a half, Matt, we did this. We lost a lot of money. I mean, a lot of money. We gave over $6.5 million of scholarships to people here. And the team here was like, what are you doing? Why do you keep taking people out of detox and putting them in residential for free? Because we were building a plan.
Wow.
Yep.
It was our it was our plan, right? It was how it's like it refers to everything. Take it to football. How many equipment companies test their equipment?
Right. Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
So you had to test the
You had to
company.
test it.
We had to
Exactly.
test this thing. We had to say, how far can I push the throttle? How fast can this baby go before we implode?
Yes.
Right? As a campus.
Yes, but Mike, this is biblical, brother, because what you just now said, it says that you reap what you sow. So you literally, when you were reaping what you were getting ready to, you were actually sowing what you were getting ready to reap.
That's
right.
right.
So you were sowing the very thing that was going to be who we are today.
And that's why when I send you the Joel Osteen, every day you get it from me, right?
Every day from you.
And you should pass it on to everybody too.
Yes,
to
please.
Buddha and Matt and Michaela.
Love to.
I send it to my kids and my mom every day, and Vance. It's so much our story,
Yes, it's our story. Exactly.
right?
Absolutely.
It's scary, isn't it?
It's scary good.
Because people sometimes get embarrassed about religion.
They do.
What are you talking about? I'm embarrassed. I don't want to talk about religion.
Right.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
They doubt it. Which one of the apostles that doubted Jesus? Was it Peter?
Peter and Judah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a couple.
They doubted him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they doubted him.
Okay.
But and he told them that they were going to actually fall off. But he said, when you get back, strengthen your brothers. You know what that means to me? When you relapse and you come back, strengthen your brothers, and those guys might relapse too.
yeah.
So you need to let them know that there's going to be a way out of that trouble that they keep having to go through every
That's
single
exactly
time.
right.
Right.
And the only reason they relapse is they have no support system when they leave.
Exactly. And you know, relapse is huge, especially these days.
Right?
Yeah, it is.
And I think you had talked on an interview that you had, it was like up to 70 million relapse. I'm sorry, 70% of people relapse when they leave treatment. And that's the reason why you're looking at that next level of care where you have the IOP. And like you said, putting $6 million into letting people get that free treatment when you first opened up.
What we're accomplishing, I think, and Matt, you know, on the IOP side of the game, is we're giving these people more runway to figure out their purpose.
Exactly.
Yep.
Because
That's really what we're doing,
You
right?
just can't do a couple push-ups and think you're going to be the ball player you want to be. It takes time.
Yep.
It gives them the time to have a clear head to think.
Right.
Right? So when I told you I quit drinking, March of 2012, I was sitting with my father-in-law at the time, and I had just taken a massive financial hit, and I was down in the dumps and depressed. But I felt empty.
Yes.
And I felt like, you know, I got this house, I got this, I've got that, and now I've been tripped up, right? And so my father-in-law said to me, don't you think you're drinking too much? And my wife was saying, oh, you're an alcoholic, and you're this, and you're that. And I said, I'm not an alcoholic. That's the first thing an addict does, right? Is they say, oh, not me.
Yep.
I'm not an addict.
Deny.
Deny, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the way you prove that you aren't something is by proving that you're not,
Wow.
right?
Yes.
And that's by action.
Yes. That's why action.
Right?
Exactly.
So what I did is I said, I'm going to quit drinking. So I got up one morning, told my father-in-law, he said, well, just cut it back to a couple drinks a night. I said, no, I'm just going to quit. So I got up the next day, I looked at my wife and I said, I'm done drinking. I'm not drinking ever again. She goes, oh yeah, sure. And so it was really hard. So first thing I did is I went around and I told all my friends and all the places that I wined and dined that I quit drinking.
Wow.
I wanted everybody to know that I was making a big move,
That's amazing.
right? Wow. Congratulations. I said, do you mind if I bring my own non-alcoholic bottle of wine? Because I had to get rid of the habit,
Yes.
right? I knew in my mind that I wanted to quit, but I couldn't quit because I always had the glass in my hand at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, right? So I would take the wine glass and I'd pour the fake wine, the non-alcoholic wine in it. And I'd buy cases of wine and I'd take it to all the fancy restaurants I'd dine in. I'd put it in the back and I'd say, when I ask you for a wine, I'll pay you a corkage fee. I want to put, no, you're quitting drinking. We're going to give you that. We're going to pour that stuff for free for you, right? So after a while, it just tasted so bad that I said, I just can't do this anymore. So I started just getting rid of it, right?
Yeah.
And I found myself drinking iced tea or water or seltzer water or whatever they had. Diet Cokes was another problem, right? I got on the Diet Coke kick. I was drinking 2 cases of Diet Coke a day, which I knew it was part of the process.
Yes. I would say, Mike, do you know everything that you went through was for a purpose? Do you know that? Because Scripture even says, those that I love, I test. So he allowed you to be tested while you were dealing with your addictions with alcoholism so that you can show yourself approved now and do the very thing that he allowed you to go through so you can offer hope to so many who need it.
Yeah. And so
This is beautiful, man.
So what ends up
it is.
happening is you just realize, you know what? I don't need this anymore. And I started my eyes, and then I said, you know what? If my mind is totally clean of all inhibitors, how much more brain power could I get, right, by doing that? You only use 10% of your brain capacity at all. That means there's 90% that's still available, right?
Some of us use less.
Some use less.
Yeah. Well, look what you ended up creating,
true.
brother. Look what
So
you
I
ended
said,
up
you know what?
creating.
What if I turned it up 3%?
Okay.
What if I just turned it up 3%? That allowed me to go back out and make the fortune all over again. And I did it in a sixth of the time,
Wow.
basically, in a whole different direction, with a whole different career, right? And found out really what my purpose is and my passion,
Yes.
which is doing this,
Exactly.
right?
Yes.
The real estate's secondary.
Right.
This is really the deal.
And look what you've created. You know what I'm going to call you? I'm going to call you this generation's Noah's Ark.
Oh, there you go.
Because what you've done is you've created the ark, and people are coming and getting on the ark because they need to get away from that flood that's coming, which is
Yep.
the addictions, so that they can have hope And then when they get off the ark, they have to go to that next level of care. That's the ILP, and then the housing that you have put together. So God is using you. He made you put together this
Yes.
generation's Noah's Ark.
And there's just the boat's not big enough for all the animals, right?
Exactly.
So we have to take 2 of each, right? But I'm just saying, I mean, that's our problem. You know, it's funny. I never thought we could reach capacity here because I thought, and I told Matt, right?
Yeah.
How are we going to, but we are now busting at the seams.
Yep, we're here.
People are on a waiting list. Buddha,
Yes.
you've been here for a long time with
Yes,
us,
sir.
right?
We had 20 people in residential. It was like a huge
Yeah.
census back in the day.
Like 26 was like, man, we're at
Yeah,
capacity.
what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Now we got, over 105?
105
That's
in
just in
census.
res,
That's
too.
just in
Yeah, just in
residential.
res, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mike, I have a question for you. When you stopped drinking, did you lose friends, business partners? Were people upset that you had made this drastic change in your life?
Oh, great story. Great question, because I have a really interesting story for that.
Okay.
So I was over in California, and I was working on a treatment center over there we were going to do in California. And we went into Laguna Beach, and we were sitting outside at a really nice restaurant. I had 3 or 4 people with me, and they ordered a bottle of wine at the table. And they had the wine glasses set up for everybody, right? And they said, oh, come on, Mike, just a sip. Just a sip. What the hell? That ain't going to kill you. So they were like testing me again. And I said, you know what? I'll pass. And I was the big one in the group because I made the decision and talked everybody else down. And that's the point, right? You can't be embarrassed just because you don't drink.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So we could talk about this. I could talk about this for hours and hours and hours because it's not complicated. Once you get your mind in the right place and you let your mind reach out for all the possible options available to us, just think about it.
Oh, yeah.
But I just think as addicts, we tend to make everything complicated, right? And that's
Yep.
why we get
Yes,
so
sir.
lost. Instead of, hey, it's very simple. You've drawn it out in a very simple and have explained it in a very minute way, a couple different words on this is what you need to do. But yet us as addicts can take that and make it into a 900-page book.
Yep.
Right.
And we get lost, right? And that's just my story, and I'm no different than anybody else. I used to think I was.
And you know, the other thing you have to do is you got passion, you got purpose, you got satisfaction, and you got rest.
Yes.
You have to take time to rest,
Yes.
right?
Yes, you do.
On the 7th day, what happened? And he rested
Lord
on the
rested on the seventh.
Yes,
day.
he did.
Yep.
Right? So you have to take time to rest
Yes, you do.
because you got to rejuvenate the mind to allow you to continue to come up with other things that you think will benefit you personally and then indirectly benefit other people.
Right.
Right?
You must have saw my post I'm getting ready to do, guys.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to do a post about how many times in the book of Revelation that the word 7 is used.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I did not know that. Is this a significant number?
Oh, yes. You should
Wow.
see how many times it's mentioned.
Okay.
So what he just now said is
know.
biblical.
All right.
That's why 7s is your lucky number. All
Exactly.
7s.
I lose all the time on 7.
Yeah, yeah.
This has been fantastic. I urge anybody who's listening out there, if you guys are on the fence, come to ARC, please. I mean, there's some amazing people that work here. Over the years, I've just seen so many lives. I remember hearing that statistic, like 90% or whatever it was of clients that leave, they relapse. But you know how many clients I've had that have graduated from here that have come up to me during like the evening IOP program when they come in, they're like, dude, I'm doing good. I'm
Really?
doing really good. I'm doing
awesome.
really good. I'm like, man, I think that number, I think we're changing that statistic.
Chopping away at it.
We are. I'll tell you a couple funny stories. Up in Scottsdale, where our corporate office is, I go to a restaurant up there every morning for breakfast called Bagels and Bialys. And the waiter that was there heard that we had the rehab. And he goes, you know, I'd really like to, I have a problem and I can't afford to quit my job, but I need help. And so I said, listen, anytime you need help, you just let me know. So last week he said to me, he goes, you're not going to believe this. He said, he rides the bus to work every day. He said, I was riding the bus and he said, I was talking about rehabs and this guy sitting next to me goes, you got to go to the ARC.
Wow.
That's cool.
Up in Phoenix.
Up in Phoenix.
That's
he says,
crazy.
you got to go to the ARC, right? And he says, you mean the Americas Rehab Campus in Tucson? He goes, yeah, you have to go there. He says, I'm there, and that's why I'm sober today.
Wow.
Right? And
That's
so
cool.
then this last week, I'm at the restaurant for breakfast, and David comes to me and he goes, hey, I want you to meet a new employee. And I said, oh, great. He comes over. He goes, my name is Max. How you doing, Max? Good. Oh, what do you do? He goes, well, I just got out of rehab at the ARC. He goes, I've been sober for 3 months. He goes, and I feel great.
That is great.
He goes, now I got my first job and I'm going back to nursing school.
Wow.
Right. So here we are, 120, 30, 40 miles away from the campus.
Yeah.
And we got people riding buses in the city of Phoenix
Talking about art.
talking about art.
Talking about art.
And we don't have one billboard or one sign up anywhere, right?
Not up there.
Not
Not
but
yet.
we do have 35,000 people a month looking at our website.
Yes.
And what I would encourage, Buddha, as you said, don't be embarrassed. Just pick up the phone and ask for Vance or Matt or
right. Personally.
Buddha or personally myself. Just you can find us on the internet and say, look, you know what? I'm just thinking about this. I got a problem. I'm struggling. And let us just give you some of our advice and where we've been and what we've done. And if you feel it's something you want to do not be embarrassed to go to your parents, your friends, your wife, your husband. Say, look, I just need to take a break.
We are here to help.
Okay? Absolutely. And we're here to help you. It's no different than staying at a resort and enjoying the opportunities to...
You need that. And as an adult, how much time do you ever get as an adult to be away for 30 days to recalibrate your soul, your mind, be away from technology, be able to refocus on what you want to do, what your purpose is, and don't ever feel, anyone out there listening, that it's a weakness to open up about the things that you've experienced. We're here to listen to you. We're here to talk to you. As a matter of fact, it's all about saving lives. That's what we're here for. So I don't want anyone to feel that way, man. I hope everyone can come over here and get some treatment.
Absolutely. And I got to sing, transparency is transformation.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, it is.
Exactly.
So real quick, I want to read something to you real quick. Literally, remember I was telling you about my post I was going to do? Watch this. There are 7 churches, 7 spirits, 7 lamps, 7 stars, 7 candlesticks, 7 seals, 7 arms, 7 eyes, 7 angels, 7 trumpets, 7 thunders, 7. It just goes on and on. I got 50 here. I won't finish all of them, but I will close with this. How many days of the week do we have?
7.
7. And how many days did it take for him to create the world? 6. And he rested on the 7th.
He was still creating, even though he's resting.
Yeah.
That's because the creation was here.
Yes, sir.
Yep. So I like that. So funny you said that, brother. Because literally.
And guys, so many people say, well, and I have a business partner who says, I don't believe in God. I don't believe in him. I'm an atheist. I don't believe in God. And I said, that's okay. That's all right. Because I've been there. I've been on the other side. 1982, when I broke my neck and died, I was on life support. I was on the other side. I know there's another side. And at the end of the day, you don't have to believe right now because God will make you a believer when it's your day.
And Mike, that's biblical, brother. It says that people don't believe. And we know that that's biblical. And it says, but we don't judge them for not believing.
That's correct.
That's where they live and that's where they are. And we just have hope that somehow that they would come to the hope and knowledge and truth in our Savior Christ. And that's the reason why we don't judge anybody. And I tell people every time I share my testimony, there are many roads to recovery. This is my path. But there are many paths, and it all starts wherever you can get treatment at with people that care enough about you to help you get back on track.
Whatever you can do to make yourself a better person, all for. It's a tailor-made suit.
Absolutely.
That's exactly right. We don't have a certain pair of shoes that everybody slips into. We got thousands of different shoes. And,
Not a Cinderella story.
Whatever one fits, whatever one's going to fit you, I will assure you one thing. If you truly want your life to change, you will get it here.
Come get on the ark.
You will get it here. Whether you know it or not, you will get it. And the only reason you won't is because you don't want it and you're not ready.
I really love about this program, too, being here for a little over, about 4.5 months now, I've noticed how many people that have been clients here that now work for art. Tell me about that.
Yep.
The amazement thing is when they come through treatment, we get to take a back seat and watch them change because they make changes they don't even see, but we see them on the outside. It's just like everybody notices you change except for who's changing. So these people come through and the light bulb comes on and the next day you see them and they're like, how can I work here? Wow. I want to work here. I want to help other people change their lives like you guys helped me change mine. And to have people come and just share that, working here as an admin is great. This is why I do what I do. It's called the juice, right? We get the juice when we see people transform into the person they're supposed to be. But we have, you name it. We've had people come through and we try to say, hey, if you can go 6 months, come on back, sobriety. But we've also hired people that are in our IOP program to do certain things. And we've had people work out. We've had people not work out. It doesn't discourage me one way or the other because we could go 10 people in a row that falter, But there's that one person that stays, and they end up being here for 5 years.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The thing about the NFL, I mean, just because you're on the team doesn't mean that you're going to stay on the team unless you do what the team tells you to do.
Exactly, so we take great pride into giving that opportunity because anybody that wants to work here, they want to work here for a reason. That reason is what? Because usually if they came through our program, we changed their life, number one.
Yep.
And number two, they want to receive the benefit of that juice of helping others so they can feel better about themselves as well, right?
That's right.
It's not about what I can feed my inner circle. We all have that bucket and that ladle, right? My dad told me this story as a kid, and we all ladle out, but we need those people to ladle back in, otherwise we go empty, right? You can't walk around with an empty bucket, right? And so these people come back and they give us something, right? I get so much out of people coming through the program and then coming to work here and then seeing them bust ass. And get the kudos and all the congratulations and man, they're really doing a great job. And you get the ones that come through and be like, man, that was a bust. Yeah, but guess what? They'll be back. They'll be back when they're ready, and they come back and they succeed. So it's not about how many times they fail. It's about you getting that back on that horse and continuing down that road, right?
Yep. Hey, Mike, the three of us, the crowd, we want to just thank you so much for this opportunity today.
Oh, it's been a pleasure.
It was an honor talking with you.
Yeah, keep up the good work, guys, and keep the word out there because, as you know, we got 2 new treatment centers. We've already bought the properties. We're in the process of getting them improved and developed for the Phoenix market and the Flagstaff market.
You took me on a tour.
Great.
And everyone will have a different theme. Everyone's got a little more different of a theme.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's not like you're going into a medical office building or a facility and you're sitting in a Social Security office or an unemployment office. It's a place that creates an environment and a vibe that makes you feel like, wow, I'm not here to heal myself. I'm here because I'm enjoying it, and I'm learning about my passion. I'm learning about my purpose, and I'm learning about my satisfaction.
Yep.
Right?
Yes, and what was really awesome, you took me to the area where you bought about 14 acres near foothills there, and he was even talking about helping the homeless. This is how much I love this man.
Well, what did we do today for the homeless, right?
Oh, we were down at the Santa Rita Park down here in Tucson.
I was there with you.
That's great.
Yeah, we were out there handing out water bottles, bags, socks,
That's great,
some
man.
snacks, trying to get the word out. If anybody's looking for help, we're willing to help you out.
That's why I was so impressed. It wasn't just about giving them water and stuff to eat and underwear and condoms, but literally was giving them
We're giving them hope.
And actually, you even gave them, what's that thing called that you can give them a shot?
Oh, we give Narcan out there.
Narcan?
Really? Wow.
There are some people that are still using, and they use it all the time.
And they're requesting, because I don't know if the people that come out to feed the homeless are offering that, but
No, they don't.
Ark's family was out there offering that. And so, in fact, I don't know if you heard this, but one of the guys was actually talking about getting back a hold of someone so he can get into treatment with
Yeah,
us.
he was talking to Tony and
Yep.
Patricio. Yep. So
We've had, I'll tell you one story, and I'll let it go with this, but we've even had drug dealers contact us to get their clients into treatment because they don't want to see them die.
Awesome.
Wow.
That's a little crazy, right?
is
crazy,
crazy,
but that shit's true.
But it's the true stories,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
And that's what this is all about, right? Is when it's your passion and it's your purpose, it's not hard, right, guys?
It's not
I
work.
agree.
Do you feel like you're coming to work every day?
Brother, listen,
Vance?
you know what? I come home every day
Right?
because I call Ark home.
Yep.
right.
Absolutely. And what you said, and I just need to say this real quick because what you said is biblical, because when you said that even the drug dealers are trying to get people to go into treatment so they can get help, you know what? The scripture says that God even used the enemy for good.
Of course.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
That's biblical what you just now said.
And you know what? Each and every single one of us has the ability to turn on a small light in a dark room. And they say love conquers all things. So being at the park, showing love to these people who probably have not felt that in such a long time.
Oh no,
I mean,
they didn't.
That's how you allow your heart to change. That's how you allow that God to move in your life. So I'm very blessed to be a part of a company like this and be with people who have gone through it. It's a blessing. So thank you guys once again for allowing me to be a part of this.
Yeah.
When
Mike-
the rumor gets out, Matt, that you guys did that today, we had one of those programs early on in the program. When we first started in probably 17, 18, I'm sorry. And we had were you there, Matt, when we had the one at the park over at 22nd Street?
I remember you guys having it.
22nd Street. We had 500 people show up
Wow.
to this thing because we had a barbecue. And we gave a barbecue and we gave them, we have a clothes donation thing here, right?
Yes, we do.
So when you come in the program and you don't have clothes, you can come into the wardrobe closets and you can pick out clothes. And I mean really nice clothes you can have, and shoes and
Yep.
socks. And and jeans and shirts and blouses and dresses and whatever you may
You
need.
showed me the closet.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Buddha handles that.
Yes, sir.
With that available situation, we can go out to these parks and have the annual quarterly barbecues. I just bought a brand new, really kick-ass smoker. I'm having it built by a group of veterans out of San Diego.
Dang.
And it thing will hold 30, 40 pounds of food at a time. And we're going to put it on a custom trailer, and we're going to be able to pull it behind the new Volkswagen Classic bus that we just
I don't know
bought.
if that bus will pull it, but
And I'm not talking down to any treatment programs right now, but how many treatment programs are doing what you just now said?
not many, but not many's ARC.
Right.
That's true.
You
You
know,
said
and that's the
barbecue.
nice thing.
That's
Yeah,
enough for me.
right.
That's where I went.
Well, because the people that run these, and I'm not taking it away from people, God love them for doing it, but it's more about the bottom line. It's more about how much can the company make. That's not what I do this for.
No, it's not.
We do this because how many lives can we touch and make a difference?
Amen.
That's the bottom line.
It's about saving lives.
That's what it's all about.
Oh, thank you again, Mike. I appreciate it.
Mike,
You guys.
Thank you.
And all you do. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening once again. We wish you guys a beautiful day. Much love and God bless you guys. Till next time, thank you. What's going on, everybody? This is Buddha from the Arcast, and I just wanted to thank you for checking out this week's episode. It means a lot, and if you could share it with a friend or a loved one, somebody in need in recovery, or maybe somebody who just needs that little bit of extra positivity in their life, we'd greatly appreciate it. If you would like to join us here on the Arcast, either in the studio live or online, hit us up. The links are down in the show notes of this episode, and on there, you can find direct links to our main website here at Americas Rehab Campus and all of our social media platforms. Follow us. We keep the posts positive and motivational, focused on recovery, health, and wellness. As you know, in this modern day and age, we need as much love as possible, y'all. And as always, if you or somebody you know is in need of substance abuse treatment, please don't hesitate to give us a call. We're open 24 hours a day, and our direct phone number is 1-833-272-7342. Once again, that phone number is 1-833-272-7342. I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your day. Much love and God bless. Peace.